Hi! Longtime viewers of the channel may remember that I used to drive a Chevy Volt. I bought a 2013 Chevy Volt back in 2015, and I bought it used for a screaming deal because it had been smoked in. A lot. Like a disturbing amount. When I was shopping for Volts, this one was like $2,000 or $3,000 less than pretty much any Volt in my area, and it was the top of the line trim, and it had weirdly low mileage. So I was like, there's gotta be something wrong with this car. And when I went to check it out, I opened the door and oh boy, yeah, there was. It was, someone was smoking like a chimney in there the whole time they had the car. But I was working in the hotel industry at that time, which meant I had access to an ozone generator, and I knew what it could do about cigarette smell. And I would later purchase an ozone generator, and I'll show you that, one second. Now the ozone generator that I ended up purchasing is actually quite a weird one. That's right, I'm gonna talk to you about my socks one more time. You need socks, right? Socks wear out. You're gonna have to buy socks. So why not, instead of just buying socks at some store where the profit for those is going to who knows where, you buy these socks where all the profit they generate is going to Partners in Health to fund the Maternal Center of Excellence in Sierra Leone. That's right, I'm not making any money from these socks, but I'm telling you about them because I think they're pretty cool. This is a collaboration between myself and the folks at Good Store, and we work together to create 12 Technology Connections inspired sock designs, and they are available for sale for very little more time. This is your last chance to get them. Check out the links in the pinned comment or the description, and I remembered to pin a comment this time, if you want to purchase them. You can think of it like an advent calendar for socks. It's delightful. If you prepay for this, it's a prepaid subscription, not something you're going to keep getting billed for. You're going to get either 6 months or 12 months of sock surprises showing up at your door. It's fantastic. I really hope you check it out. I have loved the Awesome Socks Club, and I'm so excited that I got to do a collaboration with them. And these are just 2 of the TC-inspired sock designs that we have. There are 10 more, and I think you're going to like them. So if you would, please check out the links down below. Thank you very much. We've sold a lot of socks already. It's great, but we have room to sell more. So if you've been on the fence about these, I'd really appreciate another look at them. Thank you so much. You won't hear me talk about these again, but I probably will do one more community post just as a last chance reminder. But anyway, back to this. Well, first, an anecdote. Here's what happens when a guest smokes in a guest room in a hotel. Which, by the way, don't do that, okay? Like, just don't do that. For one thing, if you do, the hotel's gonna charge you a pretty hefty fee because they're not gonna be able to sell the room that night. And you know why they're not gonna be able to sell the room? Well, a lot of people really don't like the smell of cigarettes, and they're going to complain really loudly to the front desk if they're put in that guest room. But complaints are just one thing. There's also the health and safety of other people. There are these people who have a condition called asthma, and some of them, like young me, go into asthma attacks when they are around cigarette smoke. And that's not good. So hotels will not sell a room that has been smoked in, and that's why they're gonna assess you a fee. And the simplest way to not get that fee is to not smoke in your room. So just a little PSA out there. I feel like it should be obvious, and in fairness, this rarely ever happened, but at least every other month or so, surprise, somebody smoked in a room. And what we would do to get rid of that smell was set up the ozone generator, although we called it the ozone machine. This was a little box that had a switch and a timer on it, and you'd set it up in the room, flip it on, and quickly get out of there because ozone is not good for you, and it generated quite a lot. But when the room filled up with those ozone molecules, they would oxidize all the VOCs and other crap that cigarette smoke has in it that got in the curtains and the carpet and the fabrics and all that stuff. And almost always, by the next day, the room could be sold again. They were amazing at neutralizing the odor, but it took overnight in order for that to happen. So again, that's why we charge the fee. It's not just to get more money out of you, it's because you have caused a problem. But anyway, because I knew what an ozone generator will do to get rid of cigarette smells, I figured when I looked at that Volt, you know, if I ask nicely, I can probably borrow the ozone generator for a little while and run it in my car. And so I asked my boss, who was awesome, and said, sure. I took it home. I think I did it for 2 nights, and it made a huge, huge improvement. Almost all of the smell was gone after just 2 overnight treatments in the ozone generator. But it did eventually start to come back. And at that point, thinking, again, because the car had been smoked in a lot, I wanted to get my own ozone generator. And that's why I ended up with this thing. But this ozone generator is nothing like what a hotel would use. In fact, this is really weird. The ozone comes out this little nozzle and is injected through an air pump, basically an aquarium air pump. And the idea of this is to sterilize drinking water of unknown quality. I have no idea if that is actually safe or effective, just so you know. No clue. I can imagine it might be, but it kind of feels like just bubbling ozone through water has no guarantee to kill bacteria. So I have no idea if that actually works or not, but that's what this was sold for. I think the pitch was, if you're traveling, you're unclear of how safe the water is, use this thing. And it came with like a bunch of aquarium tubing and air stones. And the whole idea is put the air stone in a glass of water, run this thing, and it will sterilize the water. Again, no clue if that actually works, but it does generate ozone. And I figured, well, it's probably enough to deodorize a car. And back when I purchased this was kind of like the only reasonable ozone generator that you could get online. I just looked now, Amazon has tons of very similar models to what we used in the hotel for not a lot of money. Personally, I think those are really overkill for a car, and also take the warning seriously. Ozone is not good for you. You do not want to be in the same space as one of these when it is running. Even this little one in the space of a car generates much, much more ozone than is safe to be around. So take those warnings seriously. But back in 2015, this was kind of like the only cheap option, and I bought it hoping that it would work well. And I probably did this over about like a week. You can just stick this in a car, run a cord out the door, and you can shut the door. So long as you keep it away from the latch area, this will just go underneath the rubber door seals and they'll be fine. And this will not run nonstop, but it does have a mode where it will run for 20 minutes every hour and then repeats. So it runs at a duty cycle of 1/3 basically. And after a week of treatment, the smell was completely gone. I did change the car's cabin air filter, of course, but this, I think I did it practically every night for about a week. And after that, the cigarette smell was pretty much completely gone. On occasion, particularly, it seemed to be like on abnormally humid days, the cigarette smell would come back just a little bit, but this basically completely neutralized the cigarette smell from that car. And the reason I'm making this video now is because the Nissan Cube that's in the warehouse getting videos made about it, well, it was smoked in. And by the way, I never mentioned this outside of Patreon, and I feel bad about that. Robert of Aging Wheels is who arranged the transaction, found that car for sale, and even brought it here on a trailer. So thanks so much to Robert for doing that. I was about ready to purchase a manual Kia Soul that was available in my market, but I told him I really wanted a manual Cube, but they're not common because, you know, the Cube didn't sell well at all, and manuals even less so. And there happened to be one available fairly locally to him, and he offered to take a look at it and even buy it for me. And I'm so grateful to him. So thanks so much to Robert. And when he brought it up here, the seller clearly did something to try and neutralize the odor because neither of us could really place what it was. It had a weird smell, but it wasn't immediately obvious that it was cigarette smell. But over time, as it like aired out, then it was like, yeah, this has been smoked in. And I ended up having to, I had to remove the center console to adjust the parking brake cable. And then I did find evidence that there were like 2 lighters underneath there and some packaging of like remnants of a cigarette pack. So it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, this car was actually smoked in. So I don't know what the previous owner did to try to neutralize it. It was fairly effective at turning it into a different odor, but it still smelled kind of weird. So I dug this guy back out and did 2 overnight treatments. And one of them, I hooked a battery charger up to the car, put the key in, left it with the ignition on so I could have the HVAC blower set to recirculate and get ozone throughout all of the ducts and stuff. And that did a pretty good job, but the Cube has fabric seats and it really needed more time. So I ended up leaving this in there for a solid week, running nonstop, because, you know, I don't drive the Cube much at all. So I just left it in there for a week, and now the car smells like Ozone still. You can get a little whiff of it, but I'm not noticing any cigarette smell. So again, this does a very good job at neutralizing cigarette smell, and that's why I wanted to make this video. I'm sure if you had just looked up how to deal with cigarette smell in a car, you could have found some good information on it, but I did want to let you know it does actually work. It works really well. So if you need a car and you're looking at one that is cheap because it's been smoked in a lot, if you're willing to put a little work in with one of these, you can probably get rid of that cigarette smell entirely. Again though, be careful. Do not be around an ozone generator that's in use. It's not good for you. It's also, I mean, it's very unpleasant if you have a sense of smell, so I imagine you wouldn't want to anyway, but I'm just making sure you know it's not good for you. And I did also see some people wonder whether ozone treatments for cars might degrade like plastics and adhesives inside there. Maybe. I mean, I never noticed any problem with my Volt the whole time I had it, and I would assume that just general aging is going to do much more than running an ozone generator in there for even like a week. But it's working. It seems to work really good. And I don't know, if a car was that badly smoked in, I would definitely consider it a worthy trade-off to maybe have some plastics degrade a little bit to get rid of that cigarette smell. But that's all this video is about. Just wanted to share this story, and this guy has really just been sitting on a shelf for a long time because I haven't needed it again. Until now, and it did its job once again. So happy to have it, even though this is a very, very weird one. I looked, models like this are still available, but by far now there are way more typical ozone generators like the hotels use. And I would probably get one rather than this. But even this little, oh right, this little one is rated for 600 milligrams per hour of ozone output. Actually, no, it says 600 milligrams per hour and then in parentheses, O2 input. So I don't know exactly what that means, but it's rated for 600 milligrams per hour, which is nothing compared to many of the others that are on the market. And really, this is only going to be running at 2/3 duty or 1/3 duty cycle. So it's really only like 200 milligrams per hour. But in a confined space like a car, given a couple overnight treatments or potentially up to a week, that will do the trick. So anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget about the socks. I'd really hope you check them out. And I won't tell you about the socks anymore in a video form, but there will probably be one more community post just as a quick reminder, last chance. I really hope you check them out. I think it's a really cool project. I'm really proud of it and happy to be working on it with the Good Store team. So hope you check it out. Thanks for watching. Bye.